Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, we're going to be discussing how to build an effective B2B cold email lead list using Apollo.io. But with that being said, let's just get right into it. Now, I'm going to assume that everyone here has no idea how to build a lead list, and I'm just going to explain everything from a very basic perspective. Okay. Now, building a good lead list is one of the most important parts of launching a cold email campaign. Okay. Now, for the most part, there's really only two ways that you're going to be doing it. There's either you're going to target the companies directly on Apollo, or you're going to be targeting the companies on a niche specific database and then enriching on Apollo. Now, for those of you who don't already know, Apollo is a sales database that allows you to find the contact information of decision makers that work at companies. Now, I'll show you guys a really quick demo of how Apollo actually works just on my screen. In essence, right here, we have access to over 282 million contacts. They have access to over 74.3 million companies. And you have, very basic features like account location. You can filter by certain companies. You have the employee counts, the industries and keywords. You can exclude keywords, include keywords, right? A bunch of different features, but that's just how Apollo looks from a basic perspective, okay? Now let's talk about that first targeting method, which is targeting using external databases. Now, meaning we're finding the company that we will be targeting on another database and then importing them into Apollo. Now, the reason why we do this is because there isn't an easy way to target company types on Apollo, right? Now, for example, let's say you want to target e-commerce businesses that are on Shopify. Sure, you can do that to an extent on Apollo, but it's not perfect. There's no filter or tag that just automatically knows whether a company is an e-commerce store, right? A lot of the industries on Apollo are very broad, right? It could be like industrial or energy or advertising, right? You can't have like Shopify e-com brand or SEO company, right? You can't do that on Apollo. You need to actually filter on a different platform for that and then bring it over to Apollo, okay? Now, you can try to build an e-commerce list by using keywords like buy now, online store, add to cart, etc. Then filter by technology and say only the ones that are using Shopify or using Klaviyo or using something like that. But you're always going to get random companies that are just not going to fit your list, right? Like straight up, right? So that's just not going to work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right back to the video, but let me tell you about Lead Academy. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Lead Academy is my coaching program. And unlike other coaching programs that cost thousands of dollars, we don't have to lock you in like that. We have two plans. One of them is $49 a month and the other is $99 a month. Now, let me tell you what you're getting for $49 a month. That's coming out to be $1.63 per day. You get access to me and my partner, Tyler, to help you with anything you might need that's cold outreach related. You get one weekly live coaching call where you get personal support for your business. You get one list a month from Store Leads, BuiltWith, Clutch, Agency Vista, or Get Lotka. You get several hours of on-demand course material going over the stuff we can't share publicly. You get personal help with your cold email scripts, help with your cold email deliverability, help with creating effective angles and offers for your outreach, help with segmentation and personalization at scale, help with mass AI personalization and sniper campaigns, access to ready-to-use SOPs and trainings, access to dozens of people who are running businesses just like you and that are very open to helping, a real, uncensored look inside the inner workings of a real lead generation agency, which is Borks, help with building your personal brand, help with growing your Twitter and YouTube accounts, help with generating inbound quality leads that are aching to work with you, and an inside look into how we're automating and streamlining complex tasks like inbox management and our sales process. We're also going to help you review your scripts and your offers to help prevent mistakes before they happen, and so much more. But if you think that's good, let me tell you what you get on the $99 plan. That comes out to be $3.30 a day. That gets you priority access to me and Tyler. You get everything in the $49 plan, plus unlimited lists from BuiltWith, Store Leads, Clutch, Get Lotka, and they're all hosted in the cloud. So you just click a button and you get a list. You get 2 weekly live coaching calls, 2 opportunities to ask anything you might need to me or Tyler. You get access to our agency's real sales calls and onboarding. So videos anything you might want to see, you have in there. Group buying sessions. You get our Borks.io landing page template to make a website that looks just like ours. You get video sales letter templates. You get clay tables and automation frameworks. You get steep discounts on big automation projects like the Inbox Manager, a more exclusive community, and so much more coming. Okay, now the choice is yours. It's either $49 or it's $99, and there's no minimum commitment. You don't like it? We'll give you a full refund, no questions asked, within your first month. But you like it, we're going to give you everything you need to succeed with your cold outreach, and you're going to get clients, and you're going to stay forever. So please take a look. That's all I ask. But if you have access to something like Store Leads, which, as the name suggests, is a leads database for e-commerce leads, you can easily filter by what is and isn't a Shopify store. Now, this is a quick picture of sort of what Store Leads looks like behind the scenes. You just have like over a little bit, or no, not a little bit, a good amount, like 4.7 million WooCommerce stores and 2.7 million Shopify stores. And then you have a ton of different filters. Like on Store Leads, there are literal filters for Shopify and WooCommerce. And on top of that, you can create really good segmented categories. Like say you want to target health, right? But you don't want to just target health broadly. You want to target specifically nutrition and specifically vitamins and supplements. In just the subcategory of vitamins and supplements, there are 21,269 leads, right? Like 21,000 companies that do specifically supplements, right? And probably hundreds of thousands that do health broadly, okay? There's no way you're going to get a list like that from Apollo, right? So you don't just get health companies, right? But you get segments and subsegments of health as well. Now, in the example above, we specifically selected health, nutrition, supplements, and we were able to get about 21,269 supplement companies from that query, okay? Now, in this picture is a Lead Academy export. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Store Leads within itself is about, I think it's $500 a month for the unlimited plan, and I mean, if you're a big company, I guess you could take that on, but for smaller agencies and for smaller business owners, $500 a month in recurring costs for just the websites of leads is a little bit rough. Now, what we've done is, I'm actually the founder of Lead Academy, for those of you unfamiliar. It's a coaching program. It's about $49 to $99 a month. You get hours of content, weekly calls, personal help, and on top of that, access to Store Leads for free, meaning you're able to export that entire platform on your own for free, as well as BuiltWith, Clutch, Agency Beast, just tons of different platforms. And that's what's in the picture right here. That's why I exported it using Store Leads, because it's just a convenient way of doing so, okay? Now, the thing is that Store Leads will only give you company URLs, and it won't actually give you the decision maker to go and contact. And that's why we're going to take those URLs and then enrich them in Apollo. Now, in essence, you're getting the URLs from Store Leads, bringing the URLs into Apollo, company matching them, and then you're going to see who works there. Meaning, at a core, Apollo is an enrichment tool, okay? It's not a tool meant to determine what an e-commerce company is, right? For that, we have Store Leads. We're just enriching using Apollo, okay? And in Apollo, you can enter those companies' websites, and Apollo will automatically match those URLs with the companies in their database, right? Meaning you can see right here, I put in 226 companies, and out of those 226 companies, we have access to 10,500 people that work at those companies, okay? And now we can obviously apply the filters like location, employee count, job titles, and so on, right? And you don't have to worry about whether your company targeting is on point. That's solved. All you have to do is worry about your people targeting, which is super easy, right? Most of the time, it's owner, founder, operator, C-suite, director, president, executive, and then marketing, growth, and business development. That's literally 95% of the time, that is the job titles you're using. Employee count depends on who you're targeting. Verified leads only, obviously. And then, I mean, that's about it, right? That's literally like what targeting on Apollo is once you get those websites in, right? And this is just, by the way, totally off topic, but that's only one of the things that you can export in Lead Academy. You do also have the option to, like, for example, do you need SaaS leads? Get Latka. Do you need agency data? Clutch or Agency Vista, right? But besides the ones that we can scrape in Lead Academy, there's also tons of other data platforms that you can go and you can, instead of filtering on Apollo, you'll find them on other data sources and bring them into Apollo, right? Like if you need local business data, Google My Business. If you need publicly traded companies, NASDAQ. If you need companies running Facebook ads library, right? And the point is that there are much better ways of targeting than just going on Apollo and trying to put on filters, okay? Another underrated way of targeting companies is through intent-based technologies. Now, intent-based technologies or intent-based technology targeting is when you use a software like BuiltWith.com to scrape a list of companies that are using some sort of technology, and then you make assumptions based on that technology, right? Like, for example, if a company is using Shopify, it's likely they're an e-commerce store. If a company is using Facebook ads pixels, it's likely they're running ads. If a company is not using Intercom, it's likely they don't have good customer support, right? Or something similar to Intercom. If a company has both a Facebook ads pixel and Klaviyo, it's likely they are an e-commerce marketing company spending money on advertising, right? And when you start to think outside the box, you can really create some targeted lists, right, that will really fit your ICP perfectly. Now, this is an example of what BuiltWith looks like. They have access to over 4,685,309 active Shopify customers, right? Including historic, I think they have access to over 16 million leads, which obviously is a lot, right? You can see right here, Facebook pixel usage, right? They have access to over 2.3 million active in just the United States, over 5.5 million active total, and over 14 million including historical, right? Meaning if you're running paid ads, this is going to be a great data source, right? Klaviyo, this is another example. Over 368,000 total active and over 858,000 that are active, including historical, okay? Now that's how you do it outside of Apollo. Now we're going to talk about building a list directly on Apollo. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go on Apollo and I'm going to show you guys some of the filters that you actually have access to. Now, say hypothetically speaking, you want to be targeting marketing and advertising companies, okay? You always want to start at a company level, okay? And you always want to start with the industry. So what you want to do is right away find a broad industry which fits marketing and advertising. Now, I know if I put in marketing right away, there's marketing and advertising is just a straight up industry, but you're going to see that a lot of these are not going to be the best types of companies. Like, for example, Publicis Groupe, right? If we go on this URL and we take a look at what this is, let's see. Well, this one in particular happens to actually be an agency, but you'll see that a lot of the companies here are not going to be agencies. Like Qatar Jobs here, right? This is obviously not a marketing company. This is a staffing company, which isn't even related to marketing. Like automatic roller shutters. Like this has nothing to do with marketing. And you need to basically find the category and then start excluding things. Now, just because I've done this before, I know that a lot of the keywords that you want to exclude are job related, right? So you're able to come into keywords and simply go exclude keywords and then start excluding keywords from here, okay? But just for the sake of this example, let's say I want to target SEO companies, PPC companies, and ads companies, right? Hypothetically speaking. Now this is going to be a much cleaner list, okay? Now you're going to want to just exclude some of the keywords. So immediately, nonprofit, right? You want to remove nonprofit. That's a keyword that's very common here. You want to remove work, labor, hiring, jobs, anything to do with that, right? Freelancer, anything like that, just to kind of clean up the lead list a little bit, right? Then once you kind of have a rough target, you want to start applying filters. Now, I really don't recommend, like if you're going to build out a lead list, this is honestly not the best way of doing it. But if you were going to do it this way, I would recommend starting with one country, which is probably the United States, Canada, or United Kingdom, or Australia, where you know that it's a first world market and your offer works there. Okay, so let's just say, just for the sake of the example, we'll put in United States, right? Just so we have that done. That's for the account location. And then you're going to apply employee filters. Now, a lot of the time with employee filters, you don't want to overstep it. Like if you know you have an offer which is most of the time 10 employees, like don't just start selecting 100 employees. Like that's a little bit too much, right? So what I like to do is I like to do a custom range. And the reason why I do custom range instead of just selecting it here is one includes people who are self-employed, right? Self-employed and business owner are not the same thing, okay? Self-employed is you make a little bit more money than the average person does and you work for yourself. That's not a business owner. We're targeting business owners. So what we want to do is just to kind of weed out a lot of the like not competent people is at least 2 employees. And I'd say like for us, honestly, it could go up to like 100 employees, like for targeting marketing agencies, right? And 2 to 100. And now this is starting to look a little bit more accurate. Okay, now let's close that down. Then what we're going to want to do is start moving to people. Now in people, this is where you're going to start applying the actual filters that are going to be relevant. Okay, now from here, you want to make sure that you have account location or company location selected on a locations tab, because you can actually select location on a contact level or on an account level. Now I like to do account level because if it's a US based company, they're a real company, right? They're not like some random organization in like some third world country, right? They are an actual organization in the USA. But you don't want to filter necessarily by the person, because the person could just live somewhere else, right? Like if you just happen to live in like Bali, right? That's not the same thing as your company being based in Bali, right? Like that's entirely different. So you don't want to put a filter on the contact level unless of course you're cold calling or something like that. Then it's different, okay? So I like to apply the filter only on a company level. Then we're going to go to job title. This is very important. You always want to target the founders. So CEO, owner, founder, operator, right? Always want to put the decision makers in right away, like the founders. Then we're going to do the more, I guess, executive titles, like the more like, when your company's a little bit bigger. So we'll do president. We'll do, what's another good one? President. You always want to do chairman. You always want to do executive. And then definitely throw in marketing, growth, sales, and definitely throw in business development. And that's what I would put in just to keep the list good. Like you could throw in other titles, but that's when the list is going to start to get a little bit irrelevant. And once you do this, keep in mind, we threw in marketing, growth, sales. So you're going to want to come into management level and kind of filter out some of the least or less relevant people like manager, senior, entry, intern. You don't want those people. You only want director and up, really. So we're going to select director and up, right? Because obviously we only want to be talking to at least a director. That's kind of like the worst case scenario. And then the next thing is not all of these people actually have emails. So like, for example, Ted, he doesn't have an email. So you want to come to email status and always select these 2 options, right? Because when you export, you want to make sure that your data is actually relevant, okay? Likely to engage, and boom, that's done. Then actually, I know I said I wouldn't do company location, but what I like to do is on the contact level, I'll always exclude India and Pakistan with the person being from there, just because from personal experience, I guess, how do I say that? The leads aren't always the highest quality from those countries. So I do like to exclude those 2 countries, right? And once you have this list built out, boom, we have 10,000 employees. And you can go through this and you can see it's all relevant. Like Brian, founder and CEO at PPC Boost. This looks like a very solid PPC marketing agency, right? This looks very solid, right? Isabel, Salik, Justin, Vincent, right? These are all people who are CEOs. They're all relevant titles, right, at relevant companies. So this is, in essence, a good lead list if you're building it on Apollo. You can make this even better if you were to go to a platform like Clutch or Good Firms, scrape their database and bring it over here. But nevertheless, we're discussing how to build it on Apollo, okay? Now that you have that Apollo URL, you're going to need to actually scrape the data from Apollo. Now, in order to do that, we use a platform called exportapollo.com. If you buy in bulk, it's around $3,000 to $4,000 or $3 to $4 for 1,000 leads. So it's a lot cheaper than just paying for Apollo directly, right? Meaning right here, these 10,000 leads will end up costing you only about $30-$40, right? In comparison to using Apollo, which would be hundreds of dollars, okay? Now, there are cheaper cheaper options in the market, but Expert Apollo is probably the best platform in my opinion, just because of the fact that, number one, they allow you to scrape small lists. So if you're starting a segmented campaign, you need this. They have an API for programmatic scraping. They have optional integration with Million Verifier. They have automatic scraping and delivery, meaning it's not like somebody queuing the tool, right? Like if you queue it at 3 in the morning, you'll have that list back to you at 3:15. Okay, so it's automatic. And they actually have pretty good customer support. And we are actually also partnered with them. So if you do want to get 1K free leads, then you can use our link. So you can just do expertapollo.com/referral lead academy. I'll have this in the description. So if you want to just go there right away, then feel free. Okay. Then here is what you're going to get back when you actually scrape the data. This is what a result looks like. Okay. And you can see right here, this is here straight from Expert Apollo, right? First name, last name, full name, linked, and you get all these data points. You get their emails. Not every lead's gonna have an email because I actually didn't enable those two settings right here, right? If you don't enable these two, some leads won't have emails. If you enable them, every lead will have an email. Okay, but in essence, this is what you get back. You can see, what their headline, state, city, country, company name, company website, right? And you have everything that you may need. So in essence, that is pretty much how you use Apollo in order to build lead lists. If you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe. I think we have around 1,500 subscribers at the time of recording this. So if you do like and subscribe, I notice every single person. This is still a small channel, so please do. But with that being said, until next time.